All right. Now that we're off there. All right. So, checks all around. Yes, Clyde, good to go.
I'm alive.
Okay. Niram, check.
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Zoran, check. The other will be late or missing in action for the foreseeable and, well, not hopefully the preferable future. So, allow us to go ahead and get picked up where we last left off with our intrepid and beloved adventuring party. So, as previously stated, our beloved and rather intrepid adventuring party last left off, finding themselves once again on the verge of completing another quest. Finally, having within their possession the antidote or whatever medicine of a magical nature was required from the Feywild magic produced by the Amber Forest, required to heal their ailing Lord Brokenridge, in his masterful city of Port Ivy. In doing so, our party has managed to find themselves conversing with a rather interesting being. It seemed to be some sort of an elf trapped within a long tree bark. And the discussion going nowhere rather quickly due to the nature of sanity within the party, having turned and left him alone, whatever this thing was. After finally managing to escape their own little, prison, if you want to call it, of the Amber Forest, and finally providing themselves by way of asking a new friend they have gained, an eldered ent by the name of Vononym. Catching the eye of the owner, or at least the overseer of this Amber Forest, the Amber Prince, who has allowed them exit from his realm. After doing so, our party has found themselves once again along the frozen and snow-covered plains of the northern portions of the what seemed to be some sort of howling gale, or at least even icy one at that, blowing between here and wherever else they might find themselves. Our party will go ahead and pick up and get back into character, just as they have managed to get sight of the road ahead of them. The first human thing they've seen in a few weeks from what they can tell. Even after discussing it and realizing they had been away for weeks, instead of the one they had thought. Collecting their equipment from the small forge and smith town, and marching across trying to save time by going towards the river, heading downhill to their west. In doing so, our party has found themselves confronted face to face with what seemed to have been a group, or whatever band they might call themselves, of some sort of hobgoblin. After tense terms being set, and both being on their way, we pick up just as our party has started marching northward, trying to find a different crossing area away from the protected area the hobgoblins had set themselves upon. And we will go ahead and pick ourselves up there. The floor is yours. What do you wish to do?
So we're currently moving right now, right?
Yes, you guys are still currently moving.
Are we kind of in this section here?
Let me point it out for you. You guys are currently still marching across. You came from the Amber Forest in this area, went from Dungannon, and you went west until you finally reached that river. River isn't too wide, or from what you can tell, it's only about 11-ish feet wide. However, oh, for fuck's sake. Pheasant! Apologies. He decides to go wild.
What's his doggo name?
Fezzik. Anyway, but currently you guys are residing yourselves northward of Dunganon. So as you're following the river, trying to get away from this encampment that these hobgoblins have set upon, with this pretty much just by the riverbed.
I thought that we were going to be going over here for the boat, but I guess that's what happens when I'm not here for a session.
Now remember, the boat's gone. The boat said they can drop you off and they gotta head off. They never said they would wait for you. That's why they sold you the little boat that you guys went in on, the little tug.
Right. And we decide to go north, and there's no real way to cross at this moment. Because from what I'm understanding, we can't really use the boat. And
Well, you guys currently, as you were figuring it out, you were moving northward until I believe it was Volus who had the bright idea to sail across the river by flying. He cast Flight on Niram. In doing so, Niram picked up Clyde and Rowan. He picked up you and then flew over. And you guys are now on the western bank.
Right.
And that is essentially where you guys left.
Okay. Because I was still on the idea that we were on the...
No, you guys are now on the west bank. My apologies.
Okay.
I did not catch you up as fully as I had wished.
I guess we should continue looking, going to try and find a path, and like Zorm's gonna kind of look for this and try and figure out which way they need to go.
Okay. You being a rather smart cookie, go ahead and make me a general wisdom check.
Wisdom.
Yes.
Wisdom. One moment here. My character sheet is kind of being a bug, but the base roll is 16 right now.
Base of 16. All right. So, taking a look at it, you keep an eye out for the surroundings and remembering back to the maps that you were both gifted and seen in the presence of where you were. You do remember where you guys are, and as we continue on, kind of doing a little bit of a back arc here for you, because you guys have technically already progressed further. I'm just trying to catch you up as to what happened. I know I'm not doing a very good job of it at the moment, but I'm just trying to walk you through what happened.
Yeah.
And in doing so, you guys passed down south along the road. Due to the nature, because I, role-playing as you, NPCing, did know where you were, and with the connection between you and Volus, you guys used the map and went down south through Swindmore. After getting into Swindmore, you guys realized you really didn't want to stay there because it was a shitty town, and you guys started heading west immediately and went towards Feldrake. And upon reaching Feldrake, you met the City of the Damned. If you'd like the description, I can give it to you, or if you don't, that's fine.
I should be good for now.
Okay. So, well, you know what? Just for the sake of it, I'll go ahead and go over the description anyway, because fuck you. As
That's
you,
our grape.
I didn't know I was usually that rude. I'm sorry. Making me feel bad.
No, it wasn't meant to be like a rude thing.
I'm having an existential crisis here now.
It was meant to be an endearing thing. I'm sorry.
Anyway, I have to give Hope her ration of shit anyway. All right. So, upon reaching the very faint outskirts from what you know of the map to be the city of Feldrake, you prepare yourself for the idea of a bustling city. Towering walls built strong and steadfast, a bulwark of civilization and humanity. The hills surrounding the city are clad in what looks to be glittering steel and iron. And as you keep an eye out to it, you do look in the far sky. You do see covering the hills in between this large valley in which Feldrake is built is a massive cloud. Not a storm, but something that looks to be inherently ready for rain at any moment of any time at any day. As you get a closer look, walking further and further towards these hills, you see that the shining steel and iron you see is reflected with bits and pieces of rust, broken and shattered steel, accompanied by what you can see looks to be pale bone bleached by the sun, scattered here and there, all along the hill. What's your passive perception, Zoran?
15.
15. So you would actually be able to see that decorating this hill along with the bone and the amount of steel and rust that covers it, you also pick out what looks to be bits and pieces of full corpses. Well, almost in the middle of decomposition, but not. And you see they litter the ground. And I mean litter. It looks like there was a massive battle here maybe a month or two ago.
Right.
The hills themselves are surrounded with crows and ravens, scavengers and their ilk. As you see, a vulture is currently picking on the eyeball of what looks to be some sort of a you can't tell if it was a human at one point or some sort of other creature, but you currently see its eyes being pecked out by a raven and vulture. And getting further and further still, you start noticing through the cloud that just seems to be settling above the city what looks to be something you have never seen before, nor have you heard of it. A giant tower, something you know of, but there's something on it, something you don't know. It looks to be a giant white pane, whether of glass or stone you are unknowing. But you see two long arms, supposedly made of steel, brilliantly polished, as they currently seem to be ticking by every time you look at it. These two long arms on this paned surface seem to be moving in a direction, seems to be moving in a circle. You have no idea what it means.
Huh.
As the day progresses, soon befalling night, or at least dusk, as the moon starts slowly rising, the sun just setting on the backside of the hills, you crest the hill, and your hopes of a city are demolished. You see before you ruin, and that is all it can be described as. Walls once grand and impeccable in stature and size, now crumbled to nothing but dust and ruin. Bits and pieces of towers and bastions still stand in a rude awakening of what was once here. A passing time now lost. You see, bits and pieces of the wall have attempted to be repaired. Half-assed stonework, strewn and strewn about with bits and pieces of wood, looking like some cobbled-together mess. The outskirts themselves almost echo that of the walls themselves. You see nothing standing, burned out and ashen. The only real building here is ruin and rubble. Maybe a burnt-out house here or there with no roof. The inside of the city is even worse, more gloomy and depressing to look at than even that of the outside. You see tall spires laying about rooftops destroyed. collapsed houses and ruined buildings by what seemed to be some sort of siege engine or large claw. In doing so, you cannot see much of the detail around, but you do know that most of the city looks completely destroyed. Only about maybe an eighth of it still remaining standing. From what you can see at about maybe a mile's distance.
Does this look almost the same kind of damage and tactics used in the attack of Port Ivy?
Oh, no. This is much worse. This looks like it was an actual siege. This wasn't a terror attack. This was an actual siege.
Okay, I was gonna see if they had been using things like that they used in Port Ivy, but that also works.
Oh. That's lovely.
He has muted.
A muted DM is never a good sign.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope that it's just temporary and
Apologies for that. I know it's a bit of a pain in the ass. But... shit.
I hate dog.
I know you do. And right now, everything's kind of going to shit. So, one moment, please. Technical difficulties. Don't you love it when your internet kind of shits itself and makes your Discord have a fucking aneurysm?
mm-hmm.
All the time.
It's always so much fun. Alright, so apologies for that small pause. I do try and keep things as well-being as they can. But anyway, continuing what I was saying. Zoram, no. From what you can tell, this does not look to be any sort of terror attack. This was a siege. It looks like the cities and buildings here were burned because a fire started while the city was being attacked. You are not a local of the Kamyar provinces, so you wouldn't exactly know the history behind Feldrake. So there's not much for you to know about here, except all that you can really tell from a distance is that this city was attacked and pretty much burned to the ground.
Hello.
Yeah.
Finally. Who finally shows up.
My phone died lately.
Well.
Shame him. Shame.
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 Shame. I
Shame.
need a bell, but I don't have a bell.
Alright. Yeah. As you close into the city, you are greeted by 2 guards dressed in a full black plate armor. You can't see much of them, except 2 eyes that seem to have a very slight reddish-yellow glow from underneath the helmet. The armor itself is finely decorated, built in a way meant for almost an ornate compassion, but you see it is very much so functional. The guards are armed with what look to be very long halberds, and it looks like they have also seen action. The blades and pointed ends of the haft being sharpened from being dulled once or twice and being used in combat. In doing so, the conversation that sparks up, because once again I'm trying to pick you guys up from where you left off, where I'm catching you up, is the guards essentially tell you if you have no business within the city, as in being a mercenary, or any time to spare within helping rebuild, they don't want you. You need to find another way out. So what you guys ended up doing, under the idea of Niram and Volus, you guys actually skirted around the walls of the city and made your way to the southern end where the guards had told you there was still a small ramshackle community outside the wall still built.
Mm.
In doing so, you guys actually managed to find what they had meant. The area itself is as destroyed as most of the city, but the buildings here look to have been somewhat repaired. You see that there looks to be a small inn-house that's still roughly, and I mean very roughly, standing. The wood and other materials it's built out have grown very softly in the wind, but it looks like it's well off enough to where it could provide you with a little bit of comfort for the night. In doing so, Niram and Volus actually went inside, following by Rowan. And, well, building enough is a building for sleeping, so it's better than sleeping outside. And that is technically where we last left off, and that is fully picking you up where we left off.
Alright.
All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Anything?
Nope.
Brain
think
go
so.
burr.
All right. So that is where we're picking up. This is where you guys have a little bit of free reign here, because this is you. No longer going back in time to the present. This is now you.
Let me get my inventory up. So have we already slept or not yet?
No, it's still night.
Alright.
It'd probably be best if we rest.
You're right. I'll take
I'll-
over first watch.
I'll take second then.
All right.
Before we rest, I am going to ritual cast alarm around our resting area.
Okay. So you go ahead and do so, bringing out the small string, whispering into it the small arcane words, and filtering around the area to preserve the small sanctuary you have found within this old inn. Let's see. Rowan's going to go on and hunt, see if he can't find you guys some food. Hey, not too bad. Rowan reappears after kind of pushing down one of the old doors. You hear as it collapses. Well, I think I found the kitchen. Let's see what's in here. And he kind of rubs his hands together as he walks in. A few minutes later, he comes out with what looks to be a bit of very, very old salted beef and what seems to be a small container. It looks to be a vial and a glass jug of what seems to be marked down as ale. He comes out and shrugs. Who's hungry?
I think I'll just take some of the beef, or the old beef.
The old beef. Okay. Rowan goes over and hands you a hunk of meat. It looks like meat. It feels like meat. And you feel the heavy, heavy salt that's on the outside of it. This thing is like boot leather. And for all intents and purposes, it quite well be.
He contemplates a moment, then decides to just eat it later.
Okay. Rowan goes ahead and just starts nibbling on it, and you can see he's having trouble just like even getting a small part of it off. He's just not having too much luck.
Clyde would take out his rapier and try and cut a piece off for him.
Rapiers are not cutting weapons.
Those are piercing.
They
I
those
guess
I
are-
never said Clyde was smart.
Why do I just imagine Clyde like trying to perforate the meat enough to where it just like splits off on its own?
Yep. We'll do it in like a sawing motion.
You guys all look over and watch as Rowan seems to be dumbfounded. As you see and watch Clyde start trying to cut a piece of this dried jerky with a rapier.
Clyde?
This is the most used it's seen in a while.
Clyde?
Yes.
You can always just ask to borrow one of my tools.
Silence, he says as he continues to like saw it. Or attempts to saw it.
Yeah. You get nowhere very quickly. A rapier is not a cutting weapon.
No, just
It'll get
takes
there
out the
eventually.
axe, puts it beside Clyde.
One more time.
Nerum just takes out his axe and puts it beside Clyde. So
Ah, yes,
There's
the
an
perfect
option.
cutting weapon. Clyde would then like halter his rapier as he picks up the axe and proceeds to try to cut off a piece of the meat now.
It's a bit easier. Go ahead, just roll me a d4.
let's be
A
honest,
deep-
with how tough that hunk of meat is, you might as well treat it like an enemy's head.
Alright, I can only find a D8 in my 44 dice right now, so I got a 3.
Okay. You managed to hunk this piece of meat up into 3 pieces. As you bring the axe in. Hunk, hunk, hunk.
Ah, you see the rapier loosened it up. He'd say, handing back the axe thereafter.
Believe what you will.
Could probably pour water on that thing and it'd turn into dusted like water.
All right. So, with that, as that continues on, over the course of the night, go ahead, first watch. Make me a perception check.
I got a question. Could I do something alongside my
Yes, you may. What would you like to do?
I was thinking about it. I might try the book.
You see, it's just a book. Why
That's
would
true.
you fear a book?
I will try it one last time, probably.
Make me a wisdom check.
Okay, so for perception first.
Yeah?
I got a 15. My wisdom, however, is 19.
19. Ooh, boy, he's cooking with gas tonight. All right. So, your watch is uneventful as uneventful could get in Feldrake. And by meaning that, just about an hour after sunset, and the moon is now rising into the sky boldly, you hear the sound of combat outside. It sounds like a raging battle. The sound of swords smashing into shield and iron armor. And the sound of war cry and battle cry with horns blaring left and right. You have no idea what to think about it.
Hmm. Like, there's that look of caution on him. He just kind of like, he's tempted to peer out a window, but he does not bother taking heed of what one of the black armored guards said, just to not intervene with anything there.
Okay?
Okay, that his only books are, well, both being from a certain lich, it's the only thing he can do really to pass the time, seeing as he doesn't have enough ingredients in his alchemy.
All right. Well, as your watch slowly comes to an end, second watch, you can go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Hmm.
Second watch,
Clyde.
going once,
Hello. Yes. Hi.
going twice.
Hello. Hello.
Your perception.
Make me a perception check, please.
Uh, 18. Oh God, what is the additive perception?
Wisdom.
Okay, well I get no added. 18.
Okay. Well, looking over, as your watch comes to fruition, being lucky that you are half elven and not really in need of too much sleep, and you can somewhat trance your way through it. You find yourself kind of uncomfortably standing watch. You too hear the sound of battle outside, and it does not seem to be petering out anytime soon.
Yeah.
In the time it takes for your watch, roughly about 3 hours just before the next hour of its end, it is eerily silent. You hear one last war horn sound before everything just dissipates. No more sound. Nothing.
Yeah. Is there light at the campfire?
I mean, if you guys wanted to start a campfire inside this burnt out tavern, sure.
Oh God, no.
I mean, it's an old tavern. I mean, it's somewhat burnt out. The bits and pieces of it are still somewhat ashen, but yeah, I mean, you could
Yeah,
start a
but like
fire.
if there was a war going on outside.
The guards didn't seem to, well, they didn't seem too interested about it.
We'll go over to Niram and be like, hey Niram, and kind of like gently poke him, being like, hey,
What's up?
there was a war horn, and now there's no more sound.
So, does that mean that it's over?
I think.
And that's the reason you woke me up.
Yes. To inform you that the the whatever was going on outside has ceased to exist as of this moment.
Clyde, let me give you a tip.
Yes.
You best start sleeping with one eye open.
Oh, I already do. Ever since that scarecrow type thing.
Turns around, goes back to sleep.
Just Clyde randomly grabs Niram, starts shaking him awake. Wake up!
It's like that old joke. A nurse is trying to wake up a patient. Wake up! Wake up! What? You forgot to take your sleeping pills. But Niram, as you just roll over and find yourself going back to sleep, it's rather odd. Your hand with the spot, it felt normal ever since you entered Feldrake. No longer this cold or eerie feeling. The moment you kind of entered this large field of Feldrake, your hand has just felt your own. It's felt normally, almost abnormally normal.
Oh, great. The transformation has begun.
Volus,
Hmm?
as you find a nice and secluded spot, you sit by in one of the dusty closets of this old inn, and you pull out the book. Which one are you pulling out? Because you have the leather-bound book, and then you have the leather, in quotation marks, bound book.
I'm trying to remember which one gave him a spell and which one actually summoned that thing. Because we've never really.
If you don't remember it, then Willis wouldn't remember it.
Let's see, let's flip a fucking coin.
That could only end well.
Oh, it could. Granted, both books are necessarily bad, but alright. Let's see. Alright, the normal leather bound book, not the other
Normal
leather.
leather-bound book. Okay. As you try and pull it open once again, but you kind of close it for a moment and ponder about it until something kind of whispers in your ear. Not even anything you can understand, just you hear a whisper like a fly's wings just passing by. You look up and you see the moon is in perfect position. You can go ahead and open the book up with no resistance. And you look down at it and start going through some of the passages further on, still getting further and further as your eyes just trail over these ancient runes carved throughout the pages. In doing so, as you keep reading further and further, the one thing you come across, you find something. It almost seems to be a small memoir, like a little page of a notebook. Haphazardly strewn about the handwriting, nothing like what's been here before. It might even be someone else, you're not sure. He sees it, writes down, and almost seems to be half desperate. What languages do you know?
I know Common, Draconic, Elvish, Primordial, and Sylvan. But I do believe I have Comprehend languages as well.
This is in Elvish, and you would remember the idea of casting Comprehend languages does not work on this book. The book does not like it when you do that.
Oh, right.
You remember the last time that happened, right?
Vaguely, yes.
Okay.
I
If
just
you want to fuck around, you can find out again.
I just want to point out that I just found the image of like what just happened to Narum, and I posted it in No Mic.
Oh, God.
But, yes, actually. You do know this language. It is in Elvish. However, it's not in the fine script you normally know it in. It looks like a human was trying to write Elvish and write it rather poorly. See, it says, the silver didn't work. I'm not sure what will. Everything that we have tried in the past has just come to bite us back in the present. Perhaps we might try again. The next thing just seems weird. We spoke to a witch, and she said poppy seed. You're not sure what tone it's supposed to be in, so you just read it normally. But it's weird. And just skip through the next couple of pages, and it's the same runes, markings, bits and pieces of ideas of magics, and how they affect the soul of a man, how they affect its bones, and how some creatures can have their souls rearranged.
Hmm. You keep some mental note of the last iteration as well as the elven text, if you can even call it that. But he was cautious with the book, nevertheless.
Okay? Going through the last final pieces of the work, you close the book just as the writing is about to fade, as you see the moon is slowly starting to crawl out of the sky. And you head your way out and getting out of the closet. Ha ha ha. You find yourself once again kind of pasted into your own sleeping arrangement, your little bedroll. Getting yourself back into your, well, sleeping trance. In doing so, just as morning dawns, you guys do hear what sounds like armored footsteps approaching the door. And Kalai, this would be towards the end of your watch, just about like a few minutes before everybody's waking up.
Oh dear. Okay.
We're gonna die.
Don't worry, got the
Uh,
fireball
Clyde's,
ready.
Clyde's gonna go over and wake up anyone who isn't awake. Be like, I think there's something going on over here.
Excuse me, as I go and load an explosion.
And go over and just kind of gently nudge everybody awake who wasn't already awake if their internal alarms were not going off properly.
No, no. Hold on. Rather than going over to nudge them, we're gonna play smooth jazz on our French horn.
Are you sure
Quietly.
you want to do that? Are you
Quietly.
All right.
Quietly, but quietly next to their ear.
What is my odds of accidentally slapping Clyde if I wake up?
Okay,
Right,
hold
might
on.
be 20s.
Being someone who's played an instrument, it's incredibly difficult to play one quietly.
I know. I have a
Well,
clarinet.
maybe Clyde's just built different.
Especially
Lovely.
a woodwind.
Look, man, I have a clarinet, but Clyde's on the French horn.
Clyde, you're trying to play the French horn silent or quietly. Go ahead
Nah,
and make me a
hold on. We'll switch it over to the flute. We'll.
Hey,
The flute. Okay.
what's
Flute.
Clyde's armor class again?
All right, there, Link. Go ahead and make me a performance check as you're blowing into your flute.
Alrighty.
No, they're not Link, because Link actually has the ability to shut up.
Fair point.
Let's see. I rolled a 19 and then add the 5.
Yeah, you actually
And you
play...
said performance, right?
Yes, performance.
Okay, performance is a +8. My bad.
So you had a
You play
27. Jesus.
A wonderful, wonderful little sonnet on your little flute. It almost sounds like a rendition of The Flight of the Bumblebee. I don't know why English is hard today. The Flight of the Bumblebee. Thank you.
All right. Flight of the Bumblebee.
Yes. In doing so, you all are actually pleasantly awakened. Not by the sound of a brass instrument, but that of a flute. And it's actually rather pleasing to listen to. Even though it is early in the morning, you immediately and instinctually kind of roll over and start smacking a small piece of rubble trying to turn your alarm off. But eventually, the rest of you do find yourselves awakened.
Hey, Clyde, does a 16 hit you?
Just everyone's quiet, and then we just hear, "Hey, does a 16
hit?"
I believe so.
Okay, in that case, Clyde is taking a club to the shins.
Clyde, what's your dex bonus, or what's your dex mod?
My dex mod is a 2.
Okay, and you're wearing leather armor, so that means you have 12, or a base of 11 plus 2. So
13.
you currently have an AC of 13.
13.
No, on my sheet I have it as I have an armor of 14. Because I copied and pasted everything over from the PDF, but the PDF kept crashing, so...
Okay, so that means you have studded leather, so you have a base AC of 12 plus 2 is 14. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead
You
and roll
hit
me a
my
D4.
shin.
Go ahead and roll me a D4 for your club.
This
plus
is
strength.
Yeah, this is just meant to be, to shut the alarm up. No ill intent whatsoever, I assure you.
Can I try and dodge?
No, sadly.
No, that's a
Okay.
2 plus, so 5 damage.
Clyde, you're blowing wonderfully into your flute until suddenly whack, something hits your shin and you and Niram, you kind of make your alarm worse for about 5 seconds until Clyde finally picks their foot up and starts nursing their shin. Forgetting their flutes in the mouth, and you hear "Fweet, fweet, fweet" as they start breathing rather quickly.
Alright, you know what? Clyde's gonna quickly put away the flute and he's just gonna gently kick him. Just gently, like, hey! Like, what the hell?
Go over, poof, kick Niram as Niram he looks rather satisfied with himself as he puts his club away.
Yeah, now we're gonna kick him.
Who's we?
The royal we.
Where's the we in this?
Just as you're about to pull your boot back, there's a kind of a knock on the door seal. Guys, look up. The door's open. There is no door on this place. You guys just walked in. You look over and see it's one of the guards of the city. The full black plate armor, highlighted with rivets and gold leaf. And the halberd is currently what looks to be... You're not sure if it's in some sort of sheath or a scabbard on its back, as the weapon is affixed somehow. As this knight kind of looks at all of you. It looks somewhat confused, even through the only visible emotion you guys can see is through the eyes, and the eyes just seem to have been squinted very gently.
Is there something we can help you with?
I have received word that you are one of the groups looking for travel from the city, yes?
You are correct.
Usual travel will start in just about an hour and a half. Do what preparations you must. The next shipment will be out in about 5 minutes past then.
All right. Thank you.
He nods and walks off, and you hear the clatter of his metal boots against the gravel outside.
Yay, we didn't die!
Not yet. Surprisingly.
Thanks, Zelda.
Clyde just kind of gives a fuck you kind of smile.
Alright. For doing so. Eventually, packing your things together, go ahead and mark your rations off as you guys have a bit of your morning breakfast. You peel yourselves off and prepare for your journey. Trying to figure out what you might do for about an hour and a half. As you guys just kind of step out of the inn, you look over and around and you just see there's something different about the hills. I'm not sure what it is. Just something feels off about them.
How far away are they? Like, how long would it take to get there and back?
Out the hills? The hills are only about a 20 or so minute walk.
He's gonna just kind of go out a little bit just to take a look, to get a closer look at them, but not so far that he would take too long to get back.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a perception check as you step out from the southern portion of Feldrake.
Because if something feels off, then he's gonna look at it. What is the roll that I'm making?
This would be perception. Yeah, here,
Perception.
let me go ahead and pull up. I need another board. I'm going to pull out another map for you. I'll pull out a map of the city of Feldrake. Fuck. I hate it when it does that.
Just to let you know, it's a 19.
Thank you. You actually look around into the hills surrounding Feldrake, and you actually see the banners and such are not in the right place. They seem to have moved over the course of the night.
Would I happen to know, like, are they like moving towards the city or away from the city?
No, they just shifted positions. They haven't moved. They haven't moved any closer or further away. They've just moved position. Here is a map of the city around. Technically, you shouldn't really know what the district's names are, but at the moment, you guys are currently in this area. You stayed at the old tavern, which is this building here, the one with the... I'll actually go ahead and mark it in red. You guys stayed in this building. It's the old tavern. In doing so, you guys arrived over here at the main gate, which was completely destroyed in the west. You followed the walls around and went into the southern gate. You, keeping a proper eye out, keeping an eye on the hills, noticed that the banners around seem to have moved. They've shifted. As in, like, it might have gone from here to here, or another one might have gone from this area over to here. It seems they have moved over the course of the night.
Right.
And
Would
that's
I
really
know
all you
any-
notice.
Would I know of any reason that they would have been moved? Like any
Uh,
military reason or anything of that nature?
intelligence. Make me an intelligence check.
Okay. That's not good. Yeah, that's 8.
Well, the only thing you could think of that managed to do anything like that is somebody just went out there and decided to move them. You have no idea what might have just shifted their intentions or even just done anything else.
He's gonna return to the group, seeing that there's not really anything that he can really decipher from that.
Okay. You return.
Trying
Not
to.
feeling too badly. You guys still have time to prepare. It only takes you like 10 or so minutes. You guys are road travelers. You're used to packing your shit up and getting on the way.
Mm-hmm. It's just that he doesn't want to go too far out and then have to rush back and keep the group waiting.
Actually, I will have all of you go ahead and make me a perception check.
Oh boy.
19.
Okay, thank you.
Yeet.
That's a 19.
Okay.
20.
21.
Swear to God. Good. You've learned. All right. Those of you who rolled a 19 or higher, you start realizing there are things on the walls. They look like little spiders, but made of brass and metal. There's a soft blue glow emanating from their backs, like some sort of little gem. You just see as the spiders, every once in a while, you'll look at them and it'll skitter off and disappear back into the rubble.
Huh.
Narum just looks over to Valis. I've had more than enough of spiders.
Yes, I think
Skitter,
that we've
skitter.
had to deal with enough spiders for a lifetime.
Several, in fact.
Yeah, skitter, skitter, Volus.
Booter.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm about to make you skitter to the fucking floor if you try to fuck with me with this.
not like anyone's flown into a spider web before, right?
I am so tempted to try to use gravel on or command on him, but
You guys try and piss off the wrong people in your party.
Hey, Zorm is being very clearly trying to make light of the situation.
I know that. But just saying, trying to fuck with the barbarian and trying to fuck with the one actual magic user that's pretty powerful is not the move. Anyway.
You can either make light of the situation or you can, lighten the burden on the party by suddenly not existing anymore.
Fucking metal,
Actually,
dude.
I mean,
Jesus
3
Christ.
rations.
you know what? Actually, just because of this, I am gonna do something.
Oh my god.
Okay, what would Volus like to do?
Hold on, let me see if
As
I have
recompense.
counterspell.
As he says this, oh god, I am going to. Oh wait, I don't have command. Shit, I just realized that.
Did you want to make him grovel?
I wanted to say trip, but that's close enough.
Do I have counterspell?
Can I now pull a piece of wood at him?
Yeah,
Like, and
yeah, there's. Go ahead and make me an attack roll. A ranged spell attack.
What is he doing?
He's catapulting
worry.
something at you.
Oh, I think that's a deck save, isn't it?
20. Let me actually check if that's dex or if it's roll. Character sheet. Catapult. It is a dex save, yes.
Because I have that too. I'm like, I've used that a few times. I could have sworn it was a deck save.
Okay, go ahead and make me a dex save, please.
Alright. I'm actually really dexterous, so I'm glad that that's a thing. So I rolled a 15 plus my dex, which is plus 4, so 19.
Let's see. Catapult. All right. He had to beat a. Where is it? Ah, yeah. He managed to dodge it. Yeah, it'd be a 14.
So it's just my base roll beat that.
Mm. No, it's
Alright.
better than Scorching Ray.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
a
is
little bit.
true.
Wind smell force scorching ray. I mean, what?
All right, listen here, fucko. Anyway, moving on. So, as that is out of the way, and a piece of wood zips out, we'll go ahead and find ourselves picked up once again, just as you guys have waited just about the same amount of time, just kind of waiting around. Eventually, you do come to find that the gate opens up, and it's not really much of a gate. Most of what it is looks to just be a shoddy iron portcullis that shifts because you watch as two of the guards almost supernaturally lift this thing out of the way and allow a cart through and then lift it back while wearing full plate armor.
Impressive is what Willis kind of like mutters. So he does keep his eyes like on the approaching cart.
The approaching cart you actually see is something none of you have seen before. The driver of this cart, from what you can see, looks to be human, but they seem to be made out of metal.
It's an automaton.
Eventually, as the cart comes to a stop beside all of you, the head slowly, and it clicks over towards you. As it looks at you, you do see the face is all wrong. It's made of rubber, or it looks to be some sort of a rubber and mixtures of some sort of paper mache. Doesn't look human. It looks like somebody just tried to cover something up. They didn't try to cover the body at any point. And that's why you see it's made of metal. The face looks at you, unblinking, and just makes a motion with its head and seems to point you guys to the back of its cart, which looks to be laden high with weapons that seem to be a glistening black onyx.
I'm assuming we are allowed to catch a ride then.
The driver nods its head.
Zorm's gonna go and start climbing onto the back.
All right. Go ahead and mount yourself back in. It's not really comfortable, but there's room enough for all of you. Especially with what you can see is seems to be another smaller cart. Looks to be designed for carrying more passengers. As you mount up, Zorm, you do see in the back of it there look to be just about 5 crates laden high with weapons. Spears, swords, and a mixture of what look to be some bits and pieces of armor. All the same onyx black.
Okay. Just gonna take a mental note of that.
Okay. So, the rest of you, without any real problems, mount yourselves to this cart. And soon enough, you are on your way. The unsettling noise that seems to follow you around comes from the front of this little baggage train. The thing driving it, you hear a constant clicking like some sort of clock. And it's incessant. It's the same metronome, never changing. Soon enough, you finally find that the noise has become familiar to you after the few hours of it happening that you no longer hear it. And you all once again find yourselves back on the road and away from the city of Feldrake. Getting back to our main map here. Since you are traveling via cart from Feldrake, it took you guys from Dunganon to Feldrake, it took you just about 5 days.
Mm.
A day out from Dunganon, you got to the river, spent the night, crossed the river after flying, went down to Swindmore, spent one night outside of Swindmore because you didn't like it. And then the rest of it you guys spent getting to Feldrake. Because you are walking, you're not running, you're keeping a decent pace.
What if we were to run?
And you guys would be able to speed up your passage of time, but you'd exhaust yourselves.
Yeah, no, that does not sound fun.
I didn't think it was. So, upon doing so, with what happens, the cart itself manages to trail down as you're following this path. And past the first day, you guys make it just about halfway to Alnwick. No trouble, believe it or not, since once again you are on the paved roads of the Khmer provinces. These are very heavily patrolled and very heavily protected. The next day, you guys actually very quickly managed to make it to Alnwick. Sorry, Einwick is down here. Alnwick is here. Apologies. As you continue through, it only takes you about another half day to get from Alnwick to Dewhurst. You guys realize just kind of how fast it is you're traveling. Until you realize that going from Dewhurst to White Ridge is going to take you a whole lot longer. As you make it from Dewhurst, a small village, not more than maybe 20 buildings, with a large, what seems to be stone building, an estate, if you would, built like that of a castle or some sort of defensive structure. You could probably tell owned by whatever lord of this village, or the lands around it would be living in, be that. It takes you guys nearly 2 weeks to get to White Ridge. You're not sure why, but the travel just seems much, much slower. Once you return to it, again, the driver has not said a word to you guys. Nothing.
Huh.
Is there anything you guys want to do?
Clyde's gonna try and strike up a conversation.
You find it is very one-sided.
What's your name?
No response.
Clyde's gonna look around for a name tag.
Make me an investigation check.
Oh god, what's investigation based on again?
Intelligence.
Well, you see, I got a 9.
You're looking around, no name tag, but you do find kind of carved into its chest in a very fine stencil. It looks to be just clockwork.
Clockwork.
Oh, for a second.
Clockwork.
For a second, I thought Clad was going to find a name tag that just says, "Hello, my name is none of your business."
It's a machine. It doesn't have humor. It doesn't find sarcasm or funniness. It just is. Though, as you guys get closer and closer to it, the familiar smell of seawater and dust fills you as you approach the coastal road to White Ridge, the now present capital, or at least quote-unquote capital of the Kanya provinces.
Clyde would look to the others and say, I think we need to get off now. Don't want our friend to rust here because of the water.
No, it's going to White Ridge. This cart is going somewhere. You don't know where it's going, but it's going somewhere.
And it's heading to White Ridge.
Mm-hmm. You guys are only about a few days out from White Ridge, when you can actually kind of smell the water coming from the King's Causeway passage.
Oh. Okay then.
Okay.
Okay.
So. Anybody else?
I'm just wondering where we left our actual cart. Didn't we leave it at White
Ridge?
Ridge?
Left it in White Ridge.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm just like, looks at Valis. No, we could get our own cart back.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I've been saying on several occasions during the trip back, we could head to White Ridge because I had it stored away.
If they didn't sell it.
I highly doubt they would sell a cart.
It's been sitting there for at least 2 months.
Point.
Oh, this is gonna be funny. Well,
The cart's
as you
been
guys
sitting
are
there for 2 months, it's probably gotten repossessed. Or possessed.
As you approach the
Repossessed or
city of
possessed.
White Ridge, or at least the large town, you find yourselves once again enveloped by the tall white birch and slender oak trees that find themselves prevalent around this area. However, it is quite weird when you find out that there really isn't much around here and you aren't ambushed like you were the first time you came in.
Oh no.
In doing so, you approach the walls and you see the stunted stonework, maybe only about 9.5 feet tall. Standing above looks to be a familiar sort of ranger-looking individual, dressed in the riding cloak of deep green with hints of brown. The longbow taped over the shoulders as you see the hand comes up and waves. The individual driving the cart, or the clockwork man doing so, doesn't seem to be too interested in responding to it.
Clyde's gonna wave. Hello there!
Person doesn't respond and just kind of looks confused. Not used to having to talk to somebody coming in with a shipment.
Oh wait, that's right.
So,
that brain just like died.
as the cart comes into the city, you guys do see the familiar large open-spaced roadways that immediately just denote the sheer open space of White Ridge. The entire area around it is mostly surrounded in this tall white rock hill to its far west, and you see it just seem to be a very fine addition to it. And you also remember seeing the White Ridge as you departed from the city, as it seems to also be a part of the embankment along the eastern portion of the non-shore portion. Looking over towards the lower end, as you can see all the way down to the sea from the high position White Ridge holds, you do not see another ship in harbor. It seems you guys have no other ride except finding your card. As you dismount yourselves in front of the inn, as the mechanical man or this clockwork man releases you, as it seems to stop for the day, it does offload one of the crates of weapons and bits and pieces of armor. And you see the people are all too happy to see them, especially the guards. A handful of coin is exchanged, and I'd say through the eyes of Rowan, he'd go over and nudge near him. Hey, how much do you think those weapons are worth?
How much do you think your hands are worth?
I
What?
just saw that guy get handed 10 platinum pieces, so I think it's worth a lot.
Is it worth never playing an instrument again?
Think of all the bread I could get.
Do it
You're
alone
not
then.
gonna be able to eat bread if you don't got hands. At least feed yourself it.
I can feed myself by stuffing my face by just shoving my food into it.
You're gonna become a chicken. I don't think you want to be known as a chicken.
Let him do what he wants.
I see Rowan just kind of brings a hand up and rubs his face.
You won't be able to do that. Give up your hand and you're giving away the ability to touch your face.
Rowan kind of looks at you. Fine.
Haha. I'll buy you some bread later from the nice bakery lady. I'm pretty sure you have a restraining order.
Rowan kind of brings a hand up and we tried to save her.
And I'm sure we got a restraining order. But then again, it's been a bit, so maybe it's over by now. Maybe.
He shrugs. All right. So, as you get to the area where you had last left your cart, you see your cart has not moved an inch. Bits and pieces of mold and some plants are starting to grow up through the wheels. But other than that, it has not been touched.
What about the horse that was attached to it?
The horse has been removed. It actually looks like the horse was removed from the carriage, but the cart is still there.
So then it was touched.
I'm saying the cart was not touched.
I'm trying to give you a hard time.
I know. So, all right. As you guys come once again to the back end of the cart, you're trying to find out just why it wasn't touched. And nothing really stands out to you. But eventually, you guys, just as you're coming around the cart, you actually see as almost like an old comic skit. You see a group of people kind of poke their head out from around the tavern, and they're watching you guys kind of encircling the cart.
Zorm's gonna look over and kind of start walking towards these people.
And you walk over to them, and they're not looking at you. They're looking at the cart. And you wander over to them, and one of them looks at you and, are you the owner of that cart?
Well, yeah, our group owns that cart, yeah.
What the fuck were you doing leaving it here?
What?
Get on it, get it the fuck out of town!
Is there something wrong with the cart?
You
we need
walk
some
over
explanation. We need some explanation here.
Well, you fucking left that cart here, and when you did, sure, we tried to sell it every once in a while, but whenever we did, something would fucking pop out of it.
What do you mean by something?
What?
Your fucking
Wait.
cart is cursed!
Wait. Oh no!
Scarecrow! It's the
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh, very giggly. Holy shit. Let me see.
Last we checked, our cart wasn't cursed, so unless someone cursed it when we were gone.
Yes, this is actually quite a conundrum.
Can you like, hey, Volus, you're good with magic. You wanna see if it actually is, or if it's just people being superstitious?
We could check to see if it has magic on it. I know I didn't put any magical items in it, so let's see. And he casts detect magic on himself.
Okay. No curses you can find out.
No curses on the cart or any magic at all for that matter. Just a normal cart. You sure someone hasn't been just pranking you since?
Like,
Uh,
what do you
Clyde's
mean?
gonna.
Something.
You know what? No. For a second, Clyde's just gonna go over to the cart and sit on it.
You go over and you sit on the cart,
Yep.
and you feel a little hand kind of caress your calf from underneath the bench.
We're gonna eye the calf just straight down, like what the fuck is that?
You put your eyes on, almost bulging like a comic book character. And you look down and nothing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean something comes out of the cart?
We're gonna still sit there and we're gonna wait. Clyde isn't crazy, he knows it.
Like, I think we're going to need a little bit of an explanation, because yes, this is our cart, but we've checked, it was perfectly fine when we left.
Oh, man, look at you. Whatever the fuck you did with it, get it the fuck out of here!
What happened?
You fucking tell me! It's been causing a fucking ruckus!
Let me just
Try and sell it and something pops out. You try and move it and something tries to fucking grab you. Get it the fuck out of here!
I'm perfectly fine, Clyde says, still staring at his leg.
Vol's is gonna search the cart.
You're gonna search the cart. Go ahead and make me an investigation check. Sometimes your actions have consequences. Sometimes those consequences are hilarious.
24.
I completely forgot about the scarecrow.
As you search the cart, you find hidden underneath one of the wheel wells actually looks to be a small effigy.
Oh no.
A small little doll.
Can Clyde
He's
see
back.
this?
I got a question. Since I still detect magic, is it actually giving off any magic?
Nope. None at all.
Oh, I'm crying because I
So he's-
remember when we left, you mentioned something about how that thing is still there.
Yeah, I kept on reminding you guys, your cart is in White Ridge.
No, the effigy. I remember you told us at least once, and it just made me giggle.
I told you. Yeah, I told you. It's like you guys weren't bothered by it. It seems to have stayed where you left the cart.
This entire time, Clyde's just still been paranoid.
Narum just goes over to the others, like, okay, the fuck's going on?
Can I
So
take the effigy for a second?
No, I got a better idea, and he's going to firebolt it in his hands.
And you firebolt it. Go ahead and roll
We're gonna
me
look for
a
another
spell
one.
attack against yourself.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna look for another one. Please let me look for
Do
another
I just
one.
roll straight damage, or do I have to roll to hit?
Roll to hit yourself.
Okay. 3 damage.
As you, it actually seems to hit some sort of shield on this little effigy, and it bounces back and hits you right in the shoulder. Ah, shit.
Well, that seemed to have answered of what's been scaring the cart.
Zorm's gonna walk over and take a look at what he's looking at.
Narum's just standing there like, ah, fuck, not this shit again.
Tell you what, we'll sell you guys this thing.
Narum just glances over to Zorm.
They
no.
look at the effigy. Look at you guys. Look at the effigy.
Clyde's gonna take it. Just let Clyde take it. I have a plan.
Oh no. If Clyde has a plan, oh no.
I have a plan. Let me have the plan.
This can either go really good or really bad.
Well, either way, it's gonna be hilarious.
Let me take it. Let me take it. Let me take it.
I mean, Zone's not stopping you.
All right, we're gonna take it. We're gonna frantically search for some cloth and string.
Okay. Yeah, Rowan would have some on him, so he can give that to you.
All right, we're gonna take it. We're gonna put the cloth over the effigy. We're gonna bind it with the string while just muttering to ourselves, like muttering, being like, "Make the stop, make the stop, make it stop." Okay, then we're gonna, while it's still under our arm, we are going to go, like, we're gonna go try and find a shovel.
I'm gonna try and find a
Just
shovel.
throw
Okay.
it
Yes,
into the
a
lake.
shovel.
I mean, why don't you just throw it in the sea?
No, it'll come back that way.
It'll just claw its way out.
Yeah, you guys have a shovel.
It's made out of
yeah?
metal, isn't it? It's made out of metal.
Okay, we got a shovel.
It is a little scarecrow effigy. If any of you have ever played League, it's kind of like Fiddlesticks.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it does have little bits of metal.
All right, we are going to go find. We're also gonna go find a small wooden box.
And this phone recall.
Can I find a wooden box anywhere?
Yeah, sure. You seem to have an idea of how to get rid of this curse, so they go ahead and just throw it at you. They're letting you have it.
All right, we get this wooden box, right? We are going to place the scarecrow embedded in dirt. Like, we are going to put dirt down in the box, the scarecrow on top of the dirt, and then we're gonna pile more dirt on top of that, and then we're gonna put the wooden box, like, we're gonna cap off the wooden box. Now Clyde's gonna go over to the blacksmith, being like, "Can you pour metal over this?"
You know, for a second, I thought you were gonna go with the whole box and another box and another box gimmick, but this works.
Can you pour metal?
As you're currently working with the box, you walk it over and you hear what sounds like falling dirt. And you look at it and you see there looks to be a hole that's been burned into the bottom of the box.
No,
Oh my
hold on.
God.
As we hear the falling dirt, we're gonna turn the box upside down and we're gonna stare into it. And like, you're not moving.
It's already gone.
No!
I knew it. I knew
Why?
it was going to happen.
Genuine pain.
Drop to his knees. The face of pure just like dread and like just like every negative emotion a person could feel is just all on Clyde's face right now as he just like drops to his knees and like raises his fists up into the sky and just screams.
Can I check underneath the? Can I check underneath the cart to see if it's back
Make an
there?
investigation check.
I'm gonna check if it's just teleported right back. Investigation. That's what is my investigation? It's a +5, so yeah, that's a 23.
All right, 23. Yeah, you find an effigy. It's just sitting there. It's sitting on one of the benches, just sitting there like a little dog.
It's back.
Clyde's gonna snap his neck over to it and just stare at it again before going over, picking it up and being like, "Why are you tormenting us?" He's like shaking it in his hands.
Nero just kind of walks over to Clyde and just goes, "Do you think it just doesn't have anything better to do anymore?
Clyde,
Maybe
still
they're just
holding
bored."
This is our party's pet now.
Clyde,
Oh
still
my
holding
God.
it in
our-
his hand.
Is this the party
Like,
pet?
he's not looking over to him. He's just staring at this thing in his hands, being like, "I don't know, but it can be at least friendlier about how it's going about things." He's just like he's not
Well, I mean, in
strangling it.
all
Like he's
fairness-
he's like he's just firmly holding it. He's like making direct eye contact with this thing.
So we
Does
can't.
it have eyes?
Yes.
Yeah, we're staring in them.
Why don't we just go back to that one area and just plant it back where it was?
Yeah, I wonder.
We'll attract more of them.
Who knows?
Well, you guys
maybe-
well, remember, you guys have to go past the same place you found this thing to get back to Port Ivy.
Hold up. Let's get really clear here. We did not find it. It found us.
Yeah, you guys have to go from White Ridge,
we
and
found
you have
it.
to go back through it. Well, remember, when you guys still had Rowan as a player here, you guys decided to fuck with an effigy. Not just
Remember-
one, but a lot of them.
Yep.
Remember, a particular person used water, water
Tidal wave?
tide, yeah, tidal wave on an area, and hit a bunch of effigies in the process.
One or two. I angled it that way. Listen, if it wasn't for the fact that there was a tree, I probably wouldn't have hit any. I've only hit
Yes,
one,
the
so don't
tree's
say I
fault.
hit
It's
all
the
of them,
tree-
motherfucker.
It's the tree's fault. Okay, we're going that direction. It's the tree's fault.
Yes, we don't have a druid to bitch about it.
All right. Anyways,
Joke's on you. I am the jerk.
Executes on the spot.
Well, remember, she was the one. She was the one who wanted Clyde to stay there and take care of one of the pox.
Hey Clyde. So this is gonna be your new sleeping buddy.
No, you can't. He doesn't look over at him, but he's like, "No, you can't do this to me." He's still staring at it. Like, he's not taking his eyes on it. If he needs to blink, he's blinking. He's doing one eye at a time.
Well, if you keep holding on to that, it might be your choice, so.
Well, I mean, do we want this thing to be moving around when we're not looking at it?
I just say try to throw it into the ocean, try to be done with it at least.
No, it can
Here's
swim.
the thing. Here's the thing. Volus,
Yes.
that thing was in a box.
Yes.
That thing got out of the box and back here in less than a few seconds.
Can you try tearing it up?
Would you like to try to?
Would you want to try that?
I didn't
'Cause
say I
I'm
need to.
You see as Rowan kind of slyly looks over towards Niram.
I reach
Oh
into
yeah,
this
of course.
thing.
If it's about brute force, you look at the fucking fat dragonborn.
No. No. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at your weapons. Your weapons have a much longer reach than most of us combined. So why don't you use your weapons?
Do you
to
want me?
carve
What
it apart?
weapon probably has the longest reach? I'm just gonna pick you fucking beanstalk up by your legs and start bashing the effigy with it.
You see, he stays there. His finger goes up to try and protest. Like, you have a point there. I can't argue. You have a point. So I'm going to stand here and stop looking in your direction. Okay?
I don't think that's how it works.
Who pissed off Niram? Sheesh. Isn't he supposed to be the timid of us?
I think what we should do is just, for now, try and ignore it, and then we get someone who's experienced with these sort of things to deal with it.
Is there rope? Just for a second, is there rope?
Yeah. You
will
guys,
it matter?
all of you who have adventuring packs have rope. Yeah.
We're gonna tie it to us. You know what? Screw it. This is our problem now.
Ned's just
You're
gonna
gonna
fucking.
tie it
Ned's
to
just
you.
gonna walk over.
Yeah.
He's gonna rip it from wherever the fuck the effigy currently is. He's going to
No!
take rope. He's gonna tie it to his arm, and he's gonna be like, okay, if any shit happens, it's gonna be here, and maybe it'll sear my flesh a bit, but I don't give a shit. And it's gonna stay here.
No, actually,
That's gonna
you
be
tie
it.
it to yourself. The effigy doesn't seem to move.
20
Oh, look at
bucks
that.
says it's gonna be
It's cooperating.
20 bucks says it's gonna just like disappear within seconds of it turning night.
I'll give you $30 and it winds up next to Clyde in the morning. Just Clyde rolls over and it's right there in front of him. He's gonna start screaming.
Clyde rolls over, the effigy just looks at her. Hello there.
Yep. Just look straight at him being like, hi there.
Fancy seeing you here.
Oh my god, Clyde would scream.
What a horrible night to have a curse.
That's my line.
Anyway. Anyways, I think that kind of resolves that. I think we should just get our cart and get our shit and get out. Just like at Walmart.
Rowan looks over at you. What the hell is Walmart?
That
What?
Walmart bit was out of character, and you know it.
What's a Walmart?
What's Walmart?
Hey, come on, you really don't know the Wall Market? We went
No.
past that like 7 times in Port Ivy.
No.
We might need to check that out when we get there.
Y'all are blind.
It's not my fault I didn't notice someone with walls. Every place has walls. So, doing so is you guys find another horse. Right. You know what? Since you are taking the cart away from everybody and you're getting it out of the city, they will give you a horse. You don't even need to buy it. They're giving you a horse.
I guess the fine replacement.
When people are so done with something, they just want you to get it out. Just get this
Please
thing
tell me
over.
they're having a feast now that the fucking cursed cart is gone.
I would love that.
We're gonna be leaving the city, and there's gonna be just suddenly music playing.
Well, as you guys are taking off, let's see.
Oh, he's rolling dice.
Okay. You guys are heading off, and you hear a very brazen cheer coming out from the tavern. Seems like people are going to be celebrating. Yes.
Oh boy. We should get more cursed carts to place in areas.
What is this like one grand scheme of yours to fucking just invent new holidays?
Yes.
Well, remember, you guys, from Whitestone to Millstone, or from White Ridge to Millstone, you guys are currently going down across to try and get through. You have to get through that small bow that gets really, really close to the edge of the water line. And remember, White Ridge is pretty much the only portion of coastline that they have for their fishing is right here. Everything else is quite literally just ridge. It is tall cliff. And it gets really close in this area here. And that's where you guys ran into the effigy. Because there's no way around that. You can go pretty much, I'll make it in gray. You can go around it, but that takes an extra 3 weeks trying to navigate the narrow passages between pretty much the crags between tall hills, along with all the creatures you have to face and try and avoid.
And at this point, we're stuck with the curse. We might as well just go through there again.
Already
that
have
might
one
make
curse. What's so
double
bad about
angry.
having another one?
Yeah.
One?
As long as it's not my immediate fault, I'm down with that.
This
We
will
might
be
make it
always your fault.
angry again.
Says who?
Me.
Don't worry, you'll just wake up with a friend.
What if I don't want to wake up with a friend?
Too bad.
Well, speaking of waking up with a friend,
Oh,
Miriam,
no.
you look over and you do see the effigy is gone from your arm.
Oh, come on, man! Really?
I knew it! I knew
How
it!
did
Clyde's
you
gonna
lose
look at the
that when it
cart.
was on your arm?
Don't
Clyde, you're
ask
looking
me,
around.
magic shenanigans!
Clyde, you're looking around and you currently see the small little effigy is currently leaning against the hip of Volus, and it's currently just staring at you.
We're gonna go over, we're gonna pick up the effigy, we're gonna raise it up like Simba, but we're gonna be the ones staring at it directly into its soul, and we're gonna be like, why are you doing this? And then we're gonna proceed to tie it to our chest. We're
Okay.
making it into a baby sling. Like, you're here, like, you're mine now.
You know, if I was a sentient curse at some point, I'd just be fucking flat out embarrassed.
All right.
At least it doesn't
as
have
you
to
tie
walk.
this thing to your chest, Clyde, just you tie it, you look down at it, you keep your eye on it, just watching it as Niram watches the road. We will go ahead and call it there for tonight's game, as we have hit our little 2-hour.
Alright, awesome.
Thing.
Oh
So,
my god.
This is the most fun I've had with a session.
I don't know whether to be happy or sad with that.
Well, you
Anyway.
also got to remember I have a couple other games as well throughout the
right.
week.
Kind of like me. Anywho, for those of you here with us on Twitch, hello! And, well, somewhat of a goodbye. But before we go ahead and do that, I will go ahead and say we welcome you, always and forever. If you guys want to come by and join us whenever you have any spare time on a Saturday, we will be here anytime we can be, from just about our usual starting of about 2 o'clock p.m. to about 2:30 p.m. East. We normally take about 2 or so hours. We had a little bit of a timing malfunction here today, so we're stopping just a little bit early with our usual 2. But other than that, I really do look forward to having you guys there with us. And perhaps if you want to be notified about our games in the future, you can go ahead and follow the channel we stream from, which is Behemoth. Also, for the sake of any backstory you want, you can go ahead and check out the YouTube channel that we have. And you also have the Discord notifications you can get from the other little link there. Before I start begging and Behemoth beats the shit out of me with the horny bat again, I will go ahead and hand it off to him.
Yeah, thanks for that, Grape. But yeah, again, thanks to anyone who shows up to these sessions. I know that they've been irregular in nature, but that's just how D&D works. If not enough people can make it, the session just gets cancelled because that's just how it is. You don't want to have a session with like 2 people. Not because it's boring or anything, but because like other people are missing out. Just kind of sucks. But yeah, aside from that, expect the next session to be next Saturday at around 8 to 8:30 p.m. Central European time, which roughly translates into 2 to 2:30 Eastern time for those over the pond. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you all have a nice day.